A very good day to all of you. This is Dr. Mohammad Zain Khan, and today we are going to discuss about suspension polymerization technique. The suspension polymerization is a type of heterogeneous polymerization technique. And it is a heterogeneous polymerization technique, and it is used when monomer is water insoluble. When water insoluble monomer is polymerized. So the very first step in this polymerization technique is that we take the solvent, means water, in a beaker or in a reaction vessel and add monomer, which is water insoluble, means the monomer is soluble in organic phase. As soon as the monomer is added, because of the cohesive forces between molecules of water are greater than, or you can say the cohesive forces between the molecules of monomer are greater than the adhesive forces between the molecules of monomers and water. And because of that, the monomer droplets agglomerate to form a layer. So there will be a layer separation will be there. Because of that, if I think you can relate it to the addition of oil in water. When you add oil in water and even when you mix it, the moment you stop mixing and keep the solution still, in few seconds only there will be layer separation, oil layer and water layer. The two layers got separated. The same condition here occurs in this case as well. The monomer droplets will form a different layer and the solvent water forms another layer. Now in order to mix them properly, surface active agents or surfactants are added. So what are surfactants? Surfactants are a long chain molecule that consists of a polar head, or you can say hydrophilic head, and a non-polar or hydrophobic chain. It may be a salt of higher fatty acid, for example C17H35COONA. So this is a long chain made up of carbon, and because of this hydrocarbon chain, it is soluble in organic phase, and therefore it is hydrophobic, while this polar group forms the polar head, which is soluble in aqueous phase, and this is hydrophilic. Because water is also polar and like dissolves like, so polar molecule, the polar moieties will get dissolved in polar solvent, while the non-polar moieties, the organic moiety is dissolved in the non-polar. So when surfactants are added into these two layers of monomer and water and the solution is mixed, we get monomer dispersed in water. Then a solution is formed in which monomer droplets are dispersed now. Now the cohesive force between monomer droplets is no longer dominating, and therefore monomer droplets are dispersed among the whole system uniformly. Now at this stage, this happens because in this surfactant molecule, the hydrophilic head gets dissolved in water, means the polar head gets dissolved in the polar solvent, while this hydrophobic chain, while this non-polar chain gets dissolved into this monomer. And because of this nature of surfactant, both a water droplet and surfactant droplets comes closer to each other and a solution is formed, and which is quite stable as well because of the presence of surfactants. Now initiators are then added. Initiators are the species which are used to initiate a polymerization reaction. So initiators are added, and these initiators are soluble in water as well. So as soon as the initiators are added, these initiators travel through the solvent medium and reaches at the surface of these monomer droplets, monomer drops. Because the solvent is water, please note down that this technique has very good mass and heat transfer. Because water is used as a solvent, so this technique has very good mass and heat transfer. The second thing is that the droplet size of monomers, the size of the droplets of monomers depends upon many factors. For example, it depends upon the monomer to water ratio, monomer water ratio. It also depends upon the temperature. It also depends, the size also depends upon the type of surfactant. It also depends upon type of surfactants, and it also depends upon the mixing speed. It also depends upon the mixing speed. So I was telling you, when initiators are added, since they are soluble in water, they immediately reaches at the surface of these monomer molecule, and now individual monomer droplet behaves like a bulk molecule, because in each drop of monomer there are millions of molecules. So this individual droplet of monomer having large number of molecules of monomer that can polymerize under the influence of initiating species. When initiator reaches here, it starts the reaction, and then all the molecules that are present inside the monomer droplet undergo propagation step after initiation and start joining with each other, and a long chain is formed. The advantage of this technique is that it can be used for polymerization of monomer that is water insoluble. One thing, the first advantage is that it is used for water insoluble monomer. The second advantage is that it results in almost 100%, or you can say complete conversion of monomer molecules into polymers. As you can see from this small figure, all the molecules which are present when the initiating species initiate a polymerization reaction, means when the initiating species attack on the very first monomer, the other monomers start connecting to that growing chain gradually, and all the monomers molecule present in the drop combine to form a long chain polymer. So all these molecules are being used up without any wastage. So almost, you can say, you can use the word almost 100% conversion of monomer into polymers is achieved. The third thing is that in almost all these droplets, since the size is same, the number of molecules within these droplets are almost same, and because of that, the size of, because polymerization also occur here in all these droplets, and the monomers of these droplets will form polymer. So all the polymers produced by each drop of monomer are of equal length. This is the main beauty of this technique, because in most of the technique, when you do polymerization, some of the polymers are very long in size, while some other very short in size, while others are moderate. But in this technique, we can say the size is almost equal. Therefore, the distribution of molecular weight is not broad. The molecular weight distribution is not very broad. It is quite, the polydispersity is low. It is reaching towards, it tries to attain monodispersity, although it is not 100. You can say the more dispersity index is 1, but it is quite close to monodispersed system. So when the polymerization completes and same length of polymers are formed in all these droplets with almost 100% conversion rate, all these droplets will become beads like. All these droplets will become like beads of polymer, or you can say pearl of polymers. It looks like beads or pearls, and therefore this suspension polymerization technique is also known as beads polymerization technique or pearl polymerization technique. These polymers looks like beads or pearls, and therefore this technique is known as beads polymerization or pearl polymerization technique. I hope you understand this concept of suspension polymerization, its advantages, and why it is used for. This type of polymerization, at last I would like to tell you that it is used for polystyrene beads, for the production of polystyrene beads. It is also used for styrene divinyl benzene beads and polyvinyl acetate beads. With this, I would like to finish, and my next topic will be emulsion polymerization, which is also a type of heterogeneous polymerization technique. Thank you very much. So, the next polymerization technique is the emulsion polymerization technique. Emulsion polymerization technique is also a type of heterogeneous polymerization technique. Like suspension polymerization, emulsion is also a type of heterogeneous polymerization technique. It is used for better control of polymer growth. Better control of polymer growth, or you can say it offers better control of polymer growth, and it produces a long chain polymer, means high molecular weight polymer with superior mechanical properties. Long chain polymers with superior mechanical properties. Mechanical properties means tensile strength is an important mechanical property. As far as the polymers are concerned, tensile strength is very important. Then comes their wear resistance, tear resistance, their yield point, modulus of elasticity, modulus of rigidity, hardness, toughness. They all comes under the category of mechanical properties, and the most common and most important mechanical properties of polymer is its tensile strength, because most of the time polymers are under the influence of tensile forces. We never go for testing compressive strength for polymers. Polymers are very means you can say there are very little chances that polymers are under the influence of compressive forces. They are always under the influence of tensile forces. On the other hand, for example, if you talk of bricks, they are always under the influence of compressive forces, never under the influence of tensile force. So this is the basic difference. Anyway, let us come back to the emulsion polymerization technique. So in this, it offers a better control of polymer growth. It produces long chain polymer with superior mechanical properties. Remember one thing, as the molecular weight of a polymer increases, its mechanical properties also increases. So mechanical properties of polymer are proportional to their molecular weights. Again, this technique is used for water insoluble monomer. And since monomer is insoluble in water, here also, like in suspension polymerization, we use surfactants, which are shown here. I have already explained you that they have polar head for and non-polar tail. This non-polar tail is hydrophobic, made up of hydrocarbon, and this is hydrophilic head, made up of some polar group. So initially, this is in some respect similar to suspension polymerization technique. So initially, when we add monomer, which is insoluble in water, as in case of suspension, we got two layers separated, and then surfactants are added. When surfactants are added, they help the monomer molecules to get dissolved or to get dispersed in water. Now, if the concentration of surfactant remains low. If the concentration of surfactant is low, this emulsion polymerization will behave like a suspension polymerization reaction. Okay, but in this case, we take very high concentration of surfactant, and I hope that you might be aware that at very high concentration, surfactant molecules forms a micelle, which is represented here in this figure. At high concentration, what they do is these surfactant molecules agglomerate and form a micelle, and there are two possibilities of forming a micelle. Either the polar head is outside while the non-polar tail is inside. This happens when the solvent is water or polar. If polar solvent like water is taken, the micelle formation will always occur like this. That is, the polarizes outside while the non-polar chain is diffuses inside. While in another case, if instead of water some organic layer, some non-polar solvent is taken, then the formation of micelle will be opposite. In that case, all the polar heads will diffuse inwards while the non-polar chains will diffuse outward. So this happens when the solution, the solvent is organic layer, non-polar, so that all the non-polar sides will be towards the solvent, which is non-polar, while the polar side will diffuse inward. So these are the two types of micelle formation, and the concentration of surfactant at which micelle formation occurs is known as critical micelle concentration, or CMC. So CMC is defined as the concentration at which the surfactant molecules start forming micelle like this. So when this occurs in case of emulsion polymerization reaction, we get this type of arrangement. All these surfactant molecules, because here the solvent is polar. Why? Because water is solvent which is polar. So because of polar solvent, these micelle will have their polar head towards solvent while the non-polar chain diffuse inside, and within this chain the monomer droplets will be present, because monomer droplets are non-polar hydrophobic, so they remains towards the hydrophobic end. So this type of arrangement will be formed in case of emulsion polymerization reaction. Look what happens when initiators are added. Now when you add initiator, so here a enlarged version of micelle is presented. You can see this is the center of the micelle, where we have different droplets, where we have a droplet of monomer having large number of molecules of monomer, while towards this polar head we have water molecules, because water is the solvent here. So when initiator comes here, since initiator is also water soluble, it reaches here and then it attack at this interface. It attack the first monomer molecule and initiate a polymerization reaction. How a polymerization is initiated? When we heat the initiators are thermally unstable compounds. They can decompose to form free radicals very easily, either by heating or by giving photo, means for example by giving ultraviolet radiations or visible radiation. So by photo decomposition or thermal decomposition, initiator molecule very easily form these free radicals, and these free radicals at the interface attack on the monomer molecule, and a very first the active site, the active free radical site from initiator will get transferred to the first monomer, and then that monomer transfer that site to other respective monomers, and propagation takes place like this, and all these monomer molecule get attached gets connected to form a long chain polymer. It becomes so big that during this formation, during this propagation, the size of myceli got enlarged due to swelling. So myceli got swell. Because of that, its size gets enlarged, and then the myceli got burst. The myceli burst out, and the monomer molecule is released. Because very high pressure develops due to the long chain polymer, which causes first swelling of the myceli and then ultimately bursting of myceli, and the polymer molecule gets out and comes into the solvent. Now when the monomer molecule comes into the solvent after the bursting of this myceli, there are large number of surfactant molecules absorbed on its surface. There are large number of surfactant molecules absorbed on its surface. These surfactant molecules can be removed by washing. These surfactant molecules can be removed by washing, and because of this polymer, the solution becomes white milky, or you can say white or milky solution is formed. Now at this stage, this solution is getting viscous, and this viscous solution can be directly used in the form of resins. It is also used in the form of adhesives. So this is the advantage, that we do not have to separate the polymer from the solvent at this stage, because this white milky solution can be directly used as a adhesive or resin or as a sealant. But if we want to separate it, we can separate it by filtering or by any other method, and then that polymer can be used in solid form. So this is all about emulsion polymerization technique. The difference is that if low concentration of surfactant is used, the same technique will be called as suspension polymerization. But if high concentrations are there, myceli formation will occur. The myceli at the inside, at the center of the myceli, we have monomer molecule which got polymerized by initiator. The size, as the polymerization proceeds, size of myceli goes up, and ultimately it results into bursting of myceli. The polymers immediately comes out, which forms a white milky solution. The surfactant molecule are removed by washing. This white milky solution can be directly used, or it can first separated and then used. So this type of polymerization is used for making many types of polymer, and this will give a very good control of polymer growth and very good arrangement of atoms and groups. So this is all about emulsion polymerization technique. I end this session here. Thank you very much.